Okay, I guess I can't avoid this any longer. Welcome to Final Fantasy XIII for the PlayStation 3.
I'm
Uh,
not looking forward to this.
Me
Anyway,
neither. Why the fuck are we doing this, man?
I have
because
no idea how to feel.
because you're making a fantastic Final Fantasy game, and I thought we needed a bad one to even it out.
And from what you tell me, this is the Final Fantasy game that apparently tries to be like Final Fantasy VII.
This
Hey, at
game
least it's not
this
I've
game
heard things about that.
this game desperately wants to be the new Final Fantasy VII. Desperately.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Except I hear that Lightning's more of a female Squall as opposed to Cloud.
nah, not really. She's more.
That's because we tried to copy the Nomura version of Cloud and not the original one.
Hold on.
Poor Tetsu Nomura, the main character designer for this game.
He can choke with one of his belts.
Oh,
Well,
Anyway.
oh, come on, Tio. Give Tetsu Nomura some credit. While he can be a bit off and on with his story writing, he's still pretty good overall with his game directing and designs.
At least his games are fucking fun to play. Anyway,
Yeah.
anyway.
Just because there's a bigger bad doesn't mean the lesser evil is, not evil.
But he's not even. But he's not even
Whatever.
really that evil. I mean, at worst, his stories
No,
are
look,
awfully
look.
confusing.
Honestly, too, as far as bad stories go, no more stories are harmless. Honestly, I've
Yeah.
like the badness of.
Final Fantasy VIII begs to disagree.
But
He
no,
wrote that one?
He didn't write
Yeah.
Final Fantasy. No, he didn't. What are you talking about?
No, he didn't.
What are you talking about, Teo? Like he did not actually. But okay, fine, whatever. He wrote 7, but
Yeah,
he
he
didn't.
didn't.
He wrote 7 in conjunction with Sakaguchi, but he didn't write 8. I don't know what you're talking about, but okay, fine, whatever. Anyway,
Yeah, I'm really sure he didn't write it.
Anyway, this is one of the few tracks in the game that I actually do enjoy, the main theme. Yay. And by the way, fanboys, yes, I'm playing the PS3 version. Yes, I know that apparently the Steam version now has 60 frames per
I'm
second.
not doing it.
60 frames per second, but I've heard that even with the new patch, apparently it's still very unstable, so whatever, I'll just play the PS3 version. This is and I'm
See, I'd probably have to be the one to do that anyway.
the PS3 version is in 40 frames per second, and honestly, this game doesn't really need a 60 frames per second
Who
frame rate.
cares? You can't even see 60 frames per second on YouTube unless you're using
Is
Google
it right
Chrome.
what I heard about the Steam version that they pull a Dark Souls on it and people
Yeah.
actually find a way to, improve the graphics and the frame rate with a fan patch, like
yeah,
one
they did.
days or two later?
Yeah, they did.
Oh my
Anyway,
God.
I'm surprised this is on Steam considering it's, isn't Final
Square
Fantasy...
Enix has opened recently to the PC market.
Okay, because I
Anyway.
thought Final Fantasy for a long time was exclusive to the PlayStation?
it was for a while. This game was actually originally meant to be a PS3 exclusive, but because the PS3 was selling like shit, they decided to cover their asses. They ported it to the 360 at the last minute.
I see.
Yeah,
Well, the 360 is
and also
was the much better console at the
technically,
time.
Shiroi, Final Fantasy was born on the NES. So technically, it was a
Okay.
Nintendo exclusive for a while.
Yeah.
And then they
Anyway.
brought Final Fantasy. Oh, by the way, who else is looking forward to that Final Fantasy VII release on the PS4?
Ha 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 ha. Very funny.
I have to
Anyway,
admit, that is the first time I've ever seen a crowd react with pretty much a meh.
Anyway,
Really?
I'm actually as you might notice, yes, I'm recording this in 1080p because the PS3 version of Final Fantasy XIV is actually one of the few PS3 games that actually is rendered natively in 1080p. So, yeah, awesome recording. Okay, so story.
And story.
Line?
Green light.
Take your
And
life.
sto-
We were, or the beginning of the end.
The
Oh,
13
oh.
days. Is that supposed to be reminiscent of the fact that this is Final Fantasy 13?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
they pull
symbology.
they pull a lot of stuff like that in the writing.
No,
and
Organization 13 kind of hijacked.
anyway,
It's funny we mentioned Organization 13.
hey
Men
look,
in
hey look,
hoods.
hey look, hey look! We're starting with a train and assaulting a train. Gee, I've never seen that before in a Final
And one,
Fantasy
of the,
game.
and one of the characters that he's assaulting the train is a black guy.
Yes.
So you see,
Hello.
unlike you, Pedro, I could actually say I've never seen that before in a Final Fantasy.
Another thing that a lot of people noticed, the Psychom soldiers look a lot like a Helghast from Killzone.
They do. But since I never play Killzone, I just see them as another excuse for Star Wars, for Final Fantasy.
Oh, hi, Eddie Murphy.
For Final Fantasy.
You know, it just figures. It just figures that the one Final Fantasy game that I actually played through and liked, Final Fantasy VII, is the one that this game tries to be.
Yeah, this is.
I guess I'm not really. I'm not.
This one is.
I'm not really.
And ladies and gentlemen,
Here is she.
and here he's Cloud with boots.
Well,
I've heard some people call her more so Squall, you know, from Final Fantasy.
Don't worry, Taya. We have lightning returns for that.
I know.
Great.
Anyway, Jovah, it's funny you mentioned because people actually made a render.
Hold on. I have
demonstrates.
I have to say something.
The ground.
No, did you notice what? Did you notice what the black guy said to the kid? Don't worry, I'm not LSE. And I know what Shiroi and Jovah are thinking right now. What's LSE? Well, I suggest a game. Let's count how many moments are in this game, in this opening, that specifically in the first 3 parts, that Jovah and Shiroi cannot tell what the fuck is going on because they don't explain a goddamn thing.
You know what is funny?
So
after playing the game, for a couple of times, and stuff like this, I still understand where exactly is this part of Cocoon.
It's not the world of this game is incredibly poorly defined.
I don't know where is the thrust, where is the center. I don't get it.
I know. Yeah.
I may ask a question.
Go ahead.
So, basically that stuff that you said that we need to make a count of, is this like stuff that appears in previous games but isn't properly explained?
No. Specific terms for this lore setting.
Wait. So you're saying that even you guys don't know what that is then?
This game is incredibly poorly written to the point where there's a lot of vague... There's a lot of...
monsters like this. Okay.
There's a lot of vague concepts in this game, Joe, that are never explained, so it's incredibly easy to get confused while watching this.
Is this game?
Wow.
To give you an idea, Jovah, you know how in Final Fantasy VII we started with a train wreck like this one, but then we have Barrett explain to Cloud what's going on and what are we doing here, who are we, and stuff like that. Well, imagine Final Fantasy VII's opening without those explanations.
Well, it's not just that. It's pretty much often a standard for any form of entertainment media to eventually explain something one way or another.
Well, they do explain it, Jovah, but here's the big difference. They don't explain it through the cutscenes, not at least until a few parts after this. If you want to get to know exactly what's going on, you have to go into the start menu and read the data log. What's the data log? Well, it's an encyclopedia that explains the lore. Basically giant walls of text explaining the lore, the characters, the world. Basically you have to read. Basically this is homework, the game. You have to read in order to understand what the fuck's going on.
And not in the fun kind of way.
No. Please don't compare the data log to the Wizard's Companion. The Wizard's Companion is an addendum. It's a complement.
That's what I just said, not in the fun Ni no Kuni kind of way.
Yeah, you don't need to read the Wizard's Companion to understand Ni no Kuni's story. In here, okay, so battle. Okay, so...
Well, allow me to explain why I find that rather stupid.
Hold on. For the sake of our viewers who have never played this game, including Shiroi and Jovah, let's... No, it's for the sake of,
It's not turn-based.
To this day, only Final Fantasies 7 and 9 have interested me.
It's for the sake of it. I don't know what you guys are talking about. What's wrong with turn-based combat? I don't get it.
No, I don't want to call this type of combat turn-based because I'm a fan of turn-based combat and I refuse to call this variation turn-based.
Anyway.
I've actually heard that Final Fantasy XIII is different from the usual turn-based combat you're familiar with in a Final Fantasy
trust me, Jovah.
game.
I'm about to explain to you. Basically, this is how it is. This is how it is in Final Fantasy XIII. What do? You choose auto battle, and that's it. The game plays for you. Auto battle means that the AI selects the attacks for you and you just fight. Basically, just keep mashing auto battle and that's it. The game plays for you.
Is there any other option or something?
There is another option, but the battle system is designed around the auto battle mechanic. So it gets to a point, even if you go out of your way to select...
Basically, Jovah, the other way is that you'd have to choose your attack option, like attack, command, or magic, separately and compose a specific bar. But in the meantime, the monster will kick your ass really hard.
So it's literally a scripted section where you do nothing?
You just mash
But I
X,
watch.
basically. In fact, Jovah, let's count how many parts I can go into this game with just mashing X. And Theo here will be my witness to confirm that I'm only mashing X, that I'm not doing anything else.
Wait. So let me get this straight. This auto battle fan is activated by pressing the X button or any button.
It's just a No, you need just the confirmation battle.
Yeah, all you do is see mash X, attack. Okay, check it out. Pay attention to the menu. Okay, auto battle. Select the enemy, which is the only enemy. There, I'm just mashing X right now. I'm not doing anything. I'm just mashing X.
People who criticize God of War should really look for this game.
No, at least God of War is visually interesting to look at. This is just...
And there's more variety in buttons.
I've seen people defend this gameplay before, but what gameplay is there if all you're really just doing is auto battle?
To be fair, when we get to chapter 3, it kind of opens up a bit. Chapter 3, yes, that's right. Oh, that's right.
Chapters into the game.
Yes, 3 chapters into the game. And this is Saz, by the He's our black Afro.
He's my favorite character.
The interesting thing is that at first glance he looks like just a black Afro stereotype, but the sad thing is that he's the best character in the game.
Yeah, and you know why? Basically, I don't want to spoil the details, but technically, to sum it up, easily,
he's the only character.
He's a badass human. No, he's the normal guy of the group. Okay?
Yeah, he's the only character.
May have problems like that. He's just the normal guy.
He's the only character in this game that has. He's the only character in this game that actually has some kind of a personality and humanity to him with his backstory and stuff like that. But we'll get to that eventually. Okay, so second.
Chick in his hair.
Second take. Oh yeah, there's.
He has a chocobo chick on. It's explain that later.
It's a baby chocobo that lives in his hair, and later on in 13.2...
Oh, and also, get used to these battles being... They were
oh, by the way, Jovah, Theo, allow me to say something to Jovah. Jovah, yeah, we do get an explanation for why Saz has this chocobo chick in his hair, but only in 13.2. We only get that explanation in the 13.2 Saz DLC.
Yeah.
DLC, of course. So it's in a sequel...
Because
instead of the first game that has him, and it's DLC.
Because it's Motomo Toriyama, and this moron has no idea how to tell a story.
No, and also because Toriyama doesn't have any kind of love for Saz.
Well,
the more the game goes on and the rest of the games go on, the less love.
So yeah, notice how I actually got pretty low on HP with Lightning, and I still got 5 stars. Basically, the battle system of this game hands out 5 stars like there's no tomorrow. Like it's like Marsgall said in her review, the way the star rating is rated, it's completely horrible. You'd think, oh, okay, it's a matter of keeping your HP up while beating the enemy fast, right? Well, no, actually no. It depends on various random factors that make no sense, but I'll get to that eventually.
We did it.
Yeah, we did it. I don't know what we just did, but we did it.
We did it.
So basically, Jovah, the star rating system is probably the same one that IGN used to review the games.
Hold on, Jovah, hold on. Check this out.
I mean, you are Sanctum, aren't you?
What's
soldier,
soldier. What's Sanctum? What's the Purge?
Tell me that.
I was a soldier.
Oh, look at that, Jovah, an ex-soldier.
Hey, where do you think you're going?
Sound familiar? Not funny.
Yeah, I thought that they often just kept stuff self-contained each game.
No.
Don't they usually keep stuff self-contained to each of the stories of the game?
No, Jovah, you're not understanding. This is not a sequel to anything. This is its own self-contained thing. In fact, this was originally meant to just be one game. There was never any sequels planned. It was just there were sequels made.
Oh, I get that. I get that. What I'm saying is that they're referencing Soldier, which shouldn't that be just contained to Final Fantasy VII?
No.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. It's because this game is trying to bring back some tropes. They're basically trying to bring back some tropes from Final Fantasy. Oh, there you go, the data log. Basically, I know
Just like the usage of like a character like Seed.
Again, this game is trying desperately to be the new Final Fantasy VII, so they're trying to make the main character an ex-soldier, just like in FF7. Anyway, this is the data log.
That's gotta be one of the most unsubtle references.
Anyway, this is the data log. What's the data log? Well, I know what you guys are asking, Jovah and Shiroi. Where's the story? Well, it's in this encyclopedia. You have to read it. So, let's read it. But first...
So, just going back into the quote-unquote gameplay, are there any merits to this
Actually, no.
battle?
Actually, no. Now that I remember, I edited out what I did in that menu because there's still not that many interesting things to read right now, so we'll read it later. Anyway, basically, Jovah, imagine if you went to see Guardians of the Galaxy, okay? And the guy at the counter told you, okay, this movie is really fucking confusing. Here, read this, and he hands you like a 100-page book. That's what the data log is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Many and very... Shiroi, you're still there?
Yes.
Oh, okay, just checking. Because
I'm here.
You're always very quiet, so it's kind of hard to know, okay.
I'm trying to... I want to know what's going on. Not that I'll ever know.
Keeping me from I guess the one thing that's keeping me from getting massively too confused is that I haven't really been paying attention to the minor details and references they've been making. I guess it helps when the only Final Fantasy games I've really been into are Final Fantasy VII, and since you and Teo referenced me to that, nowadays Final Fantasy
And by the way, Teo, in case you're wondering, yes, I'm going to be showing off most of the data log because, well, it's one of the biggest problems of the game, so... Anyway.
You really want to hurt yourself.
Anyway, there we go. Let's keep Teo, be sure to keep in mind and verify what I'm saying. I'm only mashing X right now. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
Wait, where's the auto battle?
5 stars, 5 stars, A+, 4 stars.
I think once you already set the battle style, I think.
Hold on. Check this out.
What do you suppose this?
I don't know. You tell me. Okay, hold on. Check this out.
Is the army leaving its toys out now?
Hold on.
What? Explain, movie! What? Nothing? Okay, well, just ignore that giant
So, are
elephant
we
in the
never
room.
going to see that thing again?
That thing is called... Later on, we're going to learn that thing is called the Brimstone. And that's all we're going to learn about. It's the Brimstone! Oh, of course, it's the Brimstone! What's the Brimstone? What does it do? Like, no, we get... No, like, literally, we get dropped into this world, then we have no base. We don't have any context. We have no idea what the fuck we're doing. This is Final Fantasy XIII. Just a big, massive confusion.
Hey,
Like,
remember that clip you showed me a long time ago of a Final Fantasy character talking, and I couldn't understand any of it? Did that come from this game?
Which clip was that? I don't think I remember.
Yeah, it was that.
It was?
Which character?
I don't even remember what clip she was talking about, but okay.
I don't know.
If Teo says it is, then it should be. Okay.
If it doesn't make sense, it comes from this game.
Probably.
I know it was from Final Fantasy.
One of the Final Fantasy, probably from anywhere in the FF13 trilogy. Anyway, yeah, mashing
I'm
X.
just astounded at how.
Okay, so here's how the battle system works. You only control the party leader. You don't control any of the other characters. So basically, again, all I'm doing, mashing X and getting 5-star ratings for it.
Is there co-op at least?
No, there's no co-op. You only.
Oh, come on.
By the way, Jovah, notice the map.
You know what is funny?
Hold on. Notice the map on the top right screen. Notice how much.
It looks like a hallway.
Well, get used to that because that's pretty much what 90% of the maps in this game are like. This game makes Sonic Unleashed seem like World of Warcraft by comparison.
Yep.
Anyway, cutscene.
Also, but just
cool.
to brief,
Maybe some story.
It's funny because Final Fantasy IX had actual co-op.
What's purged?
Better to die than get sent to Pulse.
What is Pulse?
It's hell without the brimstone.
What's the
Maybe they'll
Brimstone?
explain this later.
Explain!
Thank you. Like,
Yeah, well, hell's not sounding too bad.
what's the purge? What's Pulse? Maybe you could. This is pretty much how I was. Like these clips that I'm inserting. Consider this pretty much a reflection of what was my first playthrough of this game when I was playing through this part for the first time. I had no idea what the fuck is going on.
They're trying to make the player intrigued. You know, what is this thing? I need to know what this thing is.
Like Spoonie said in his vlog review, I get that they want to start out with the action right away, not having to stop and explain things. But if you're worried about that, you have to find a way to tell your story more clearly. You know, I would rather have scenes where stuff gets explained to me rather than just be confused, because that creates a sense of disconnect and it keeps me from getting into the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. I mean, and there's not really much of an excuse. I mean, they could have easily had something of an intro scene, like an introduction. Like, why not have a nice long eloquent?
Oh, but you do, you do, Jovah.
Like a narration, a proper narration.
No, Jovah, you don't get it. They do. It's called the data log. You have to go into the pause menu and read.
I meant like something at the introduction.
Okay, see,
you know, where you don't really have to worry about pacing because it's the introduction.
That's not what we have.
That's the worst thing. This is the worst thing you can do. You know your storytelling is bad when you have to hand out flyers to the audience explaining
and it's
the
weird
lore.
Because we had that drawn-out opening scene where nothing was said, and then all of a sudden an explosion brought us into the plot. They could have used that instead to give an opening narration, like saying, "This is the future of 13 days or whatever. The Pulse does this, and this is the Purged, and we fight against them for honor and all that stuff." And then you drop them into the action.
Star Wars manages to do that with just a text screen.
Allow me to once again refer. I am not doing anything in these battles aside from mashing X right now. Not yet.
Yep,
Not.
And I confirm greatly.
So I guess Toriyama really is the Japanese equivalent to David Cage.
Actually, it's interesting because he views this is an actual spoken statement by him. I'm not paraphrasing. This is what he actually said. He views JRPGs as a way to create interactive movies.
Okay, okay. It's.
Teo, I don't know if Teo saw that particular saying by him, but I can look it up if you need confirmation.
Yeah, I can confirm. Like I said, Pedro, I once even shook hands with Toriyama.
And you know what's sad? And Jovah and Shiroi, you know what?
When did you do that?
And Jovah and Shiroi, you know what's sadder? What's even sad is that compared to the two sequels, this game is actually pretty awesome compared to the sequels.
That's what they say, but out of all the trilogies, this is the game I prefer.
The sequels are so bad that they make this game look good by comparison.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So, Teo, you say that you shook hands with Toriyama. When was that?
This is actually, they actually have, allow me to mention,
came in Milan to promote Lightning Returns here in my city, and basically I just stumbled to an event to show what the game was about, basically. And while we were at it, I shook hands with them, and they autographed the copies I had with 13 and 32. Okay. So basically, I can sell them to a higher price in a couple of years.
And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, item usage tutorial. Yeah, that's a tutorial on how to use items. By the way, I know that right now. Oh, by the way, the whole mashing X thing, this doesn't count because I'm showing auto tutorial. This one doesn't count.
Yep.
This one doesn't count.
Yep.
So
I know that right now. I'm not mashing auto battle like I was doing. But in this case, it doesn't count because I'm just doing this for the sake of the tutorial. Okay, done item. Back to mashing X. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. That's gonna be most of the That's gonna be most of the combat. Mash X. Oh wait, HP too low. Use the potion. Okay, back to mashing X.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay.
It's funny because from what I've seen in browsing the Sonic Stadium topic on the Lightning Returns trilogy thing, it sounded like there was a lot of hype for Lightning Returns. Like it sounded like they were actually going to fix
the thing about
I had some hopes.
Yeah, the thing about Lightning Returns, I still find Lightning Returns, honestly, even though it's all very controversial, even among Teo here, I still find Lightning Returns to be the best of the most, at least the most enjoyable for me. I still think the
I thought you said it was the worst.
Well, it's the worst in general, but it has the best battle system, if you ask me. Definitely. In my opinion, the battle system in Lightning Returns is way more fun than this. Because at least in Lightning Returns, you can actually control lightning in the field, instead of just selecting stuff. So there's more of a sense of control. And the customization in Lightning Returns is actually pretty damn good. I'll give the game that. The customization is pretty awesome in Lightning Returns. So,
well, that happened.
Yeah.
The bridge blew up.
So yeah, Jovah, Shiroi, allow me to ask, do you have any idea what the fuck is going on?
Nope, nothing has been explained.
And now,
I'm going to get this-
lightning can fly.
Wait! No, don't leave me!
Let go.
And yes, we don't even question how the fuck she can do this.
Explanation, please.
and,
Okay, so
and now it stopped working. Watch, she's some kind of machine and the function is broken or something. To be fair, yes, we are gonna get an explanation later on, but again, going back to what I was saying, this creates a big sense of disconnect. You should try to explain some stuff first.
and it doesn't help that that scene sort of makes her look like an asshole for trying to leave him.
Yeah, that too.
Let me guess.
So
She's
yeah,
gonna
that
be
happened.
the very Suish character, like where she does completely
And now,
a-hole
ladies and
things that we're
gentlemen,
supposed to like her for them.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, excuse me, it's storytelling time. Alright, Chapter 1. Fields of War. Suspect citizens of Cocoon are wrenched from their tranquil existence and threatened with exile to the world of Pulse. The purge has begun. The land below is set to crawl with unknown perils, and terrified civilians begin to rebel against the purge. A revolt also occurs on the train transporting purge deportees, as Lightning's battle against the guards galvanizes the other prisoners into action.
So it's kind of like Last of Us, except the humans don't get infected.
Well, no, they do supposedly get infected, but you'll see later on. You'll see exactly what they're going for.
Oh, so it is like Last of Us then.
Yeah, except much number. Anyway,
I know.
Anyway, the train comes to a halt in the district at the Hanging Edge, which is the place we're at right now. Now a hellish war zone where soldiers open fire indiscriminately upon civilians. Lightning makes her way through the middle of the conflict, all but ignoring her uninvited companion Saz. She seemed determined to press on
Final Fantasy VII.
even when the path before her is disturbed by military strikes. You see what I mean, Jovah, with
Final
this game?
Fantasy VII.
You see what I mean, Jovah, when I say that this game is desperately trying to be the new FF7?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that also proves my point. If we just narrated this beat at the very beginning of the game, we could have got a better, picture of the idea of the stuff we're doing.
And by the way, this is not me. The auto battle is choosing Blitz on its own. Again, I'm just meshing X. Sometimes it chooses two attacks. Sometimes it chooses Blitz. See, there you go. Now it picked two attacks.
Oh yeah, but by the way, because we need to explain even that. Blitz is one of the new things that this game tried to implement. Basically, it's an area attack. It hits multiple enemies within an area.
So like Blitz from Kingdom Hearts then.
Kind of.
I guess.
But yeah, what sort of game developer thinks it's a good idea to have a game mechanic that literally just gives you the attack automatically like that? I mean, is it like luck-based so that it can sometimes fight you in the rear?
Notice how I'm almost at the verge of death, but I'm determined to keep going with the Mesh X thing. Hold on. There you go. I managed. Even though Saz got killed, I still got 5 stars.
So the ranking system is very kind, shall we say?
Yeah.
Pedro, I need to ask this. Is there any detriment to using the auto battle? Because is it possible that it can
there is no detriment. Again, the battle system is designed around the auto battle.
Oh, trust me, Jovah. There are even times where you're encouraged to do that.
Like Mars Girl, like Mars Girl said in her review. It's painfully clear that Motomo Toriyama just wanted to make it easier for us to just, skip through the game part so we could get back to watching the movie he wished he was making instead.
Well, I never thought I'd say this, but Square Enix has finally made their equivalent to the Super Guide from New Super Mario Bros. U.
Except the Super Guide is only activated if you want to. This here is forcing your face.
Yes, that's it.
Turn ugly?
Oh, by the way, pointless mini-boss battle.
Yes.
Hey, it looks like
Garland, yeah.
That's right.
This is fighting.
Allow me to remind you guys. This is the first boss of the game. Guess how I beat him?
auto battle.
Mashing eggs.
Mashing X.
Yep.
Gameplay.
Okay, tutorial. This is actually,
Initiate
wait, this is actually important for later on. Okay.
Let me guess.
Hold on, let me explain this.
X.
Hold on, let me explain this. See the bar? Okay, see the bar beneath the HP? This is known as the chain gauge. Keep an eye on the chain gauge as you strike. Okay, I'll narrate it. I mean, the game is explaining it, but I might as well narrate it for our audience. Just for the sake of making it more lively. Okay.
So
okay, notice how the chain gauge feels. Hit home and the percentage beneath increases. The percentage is called a chain bonus. The more times you hit an enemy, the more damage it will take from subsequent attacks. Continue pummeling this Psychon Marauder, boosting your chain bonus until the gauge is full. Alright, let's do that.
And then let me guess, once the chain gauge is full, you can do a limit break.
No.
Not really. You just do more damage.
You stagger him. Basically, Jovah.
Yeah, you do critical damage, basically.
Yeah, basically, this is... basically, Jovah. Okay, actually, there's more tutorial.
So,
once the chain
basically
gauge is full, one further blow will stagger your foe. A staggered enemy takes greater damage when attacked. Chaining attacks to stagger the powerful adversary is essential to defeating them. Be aware, however, that an enemy's chain gauge begins to drain the moment it is staggered. Once the gauge is empty, the enemy will no longer be staggered. Okay, basically, Jovah, allow me to explain how the game is going to be using the stagger gauge, or the chain gauge actually, for rating of the game. Most of the enemies, specifically the bosses in this game, have a shit ton of HP and take a long time to kill. So basically, in order to cause a good amount of damage to them, you have to stagger them. So basically, the whole point of the chain gauge mechanic is to basically make battles longer. All this is doing is making the battles longer. There's no...
So basically, you need to focus on the chain gauge, because once you get it full, then you'll finally be able to actually start doing real damage.
Yes, pretty much. You have to do some busy work before you can actually damage the enemy properly. At least a satisfying amount of damage, actually.
And let me guess what this busy work is. Basically, take out enemies by pressing X.
That too, yeah, but when we get to Chapter 3, it gets a little more complicated.
Ah, okay. Hopefully something.
It's even funny, Jovah, because
Okay, you see
later
what
on
I mean?
it will be sad, but basically...
Hold on, story.
order-
Hold on, story. And this is actually a scene that actually kind of explains some things.
What's your angle? Oh boy. I know what this conversation
Hold
is
on,
gonna go, 'cause I've
guys.
seen
Hold on,
it.
guys. I love this one.
Classified military info?
you're a B.
You quit, didn't you?
This is just like Final Fantasy VII.
The what now?
My angle. I'm after the fal'Cie.
What's a fal'Cie? Yeah, that totally explains things, doesn't it?
It's like they assume we already know.
Yeah. Hold on.
Hi, remember me?
You know, I was thinking that this...
What's going on?
Yeah, it's like, well, because, you know, I thought that a lot of the confusion would come from, like, you know, them making references to past installments, and that would be why some people were confused. But no, it's self-contained, and the reason people are confused are because they failed to explain it properly.
See, it's this is pretty much how, these clips of the nostalgia critic that I've been inserting. This is pretty much how I was playing this game for the first time. Like, what the fuck? Like, you can't just leave us in the. You can't just leave us. You can just throw us at the sharks like this.
I mean, heck, next thing you know, they'll be throwing us into a shooting section out of the blue.
Actually, that's exactly what's happening now.
What?
Once again, Jovah, your powers are amazing.
Your kid.
Yes.
Oh, Jovah, you wish you were wrong.
That's right, Jovah.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Once again, ladies and
the
gentlemen.
worst character of the entire game.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I still think Hope is way. I still think that one pink collared character is way worse than Snow, actually.
Oh, trust me, Pedro. My party is divided into the characters I like and the characters I don't like. 3 and 3. Guess who?
At least, and Jovah, guess who versus Snow?
Troy Baker.
Troy Baker.
Yep.
This was actually the role that actually got him noticed, and he went on to make some.
Role?
Yes.
And then I think wait, when did he do this role? Was it 2013?
2010.
I think
2010. That makes sense.
Before
right.
the only really kind of mainstream role he did before 10 was playing the main character of Tales of Vesperia. But aside from that,
Yuri Lowenthal.
Yeah.
So basically, it's basically
no, Teo. You're confusing Vesperia's Yuri with Yuri Lowenthal, the voice actor. Yuri.
Oh, sorry, I apologize.
Anyway.
Yuri Lowell, whatever.
So what you're telling me is that this game is the reason he is the mainstream
Talented voice actor. Yep.
Yes.
Same goes for Ali Hill.
Allow me to say something right now. I love Troy Baker. I think he's a fantastic voice actor. So, and Okay, whatever. So yeah, Jovah, once again, your amazing powers of fortune telling are astonishing.
Oh boy, this ought to be fun then.
Anyway, Jovah, Shiroi, first impressions.
I'm astonished that this game is so heavily scripted. I really do not like the auto battle thing. In fact, I think that's even worse than turn-based combat.
I don't know what's going on.
Exactly.
I've sat for half an hour of this. I have no idea what's going on.
And I have a bad
Okay.
feeling that Lightning is going to be the equivalent to Carly Cooper from Spider-Man.
I have a bad
Very
feeling that this
soon,
is how I'm
the
going to feel throughout the entire playthrough.
Basically, hey, remember me? I'm the audience. You want to fill me in on what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Wow, even the fans don't know what's up.
See, ladies and gentlemen, see you in part 2.
See you then,
Yeah.
I guess.
So,